Foundations of Amateur Radio. My first ever interaction with amateur radio was a field day on Boterhuis Eiland near Leiden in the Netherlands when I was about 12. The station was set up in an army tent and the setting was Jamboree on the Air or Jota. My second field day a decade ago was a visit to a local club set up in the bush. At that point I already had my license and I just started taking the first baby steps in what so far has been a decade-long journey of discovery into this amazing hobby. A field day is really an excuse to build a portable station away from the shack and call CQ. A decade on, I vividly remember one member, Marty, now Victor Kilo 6 Romeo Charlie, calling CQDX and getting responses back from all over the world. From that day on, I looked for any opportunity to get on air and make noise. Often that's something I do in the form of a contest. I love this as a way of making contacts because each interaction is short and sweet, there's lots of stations playing from all over the planet, and each contest has rules and scores. As a result, you can compare your activity with others and look back at your previous efforts to see if you improved or not. As you've heard me repeatedly say, I like to learn from each activity and see if there are things that I could have done differently. I tend to think of this as a cycle of continuous improvement. A few months ago, a friend asked me if I was interested in doing a contest with him. For me, that was a simple question to answer. Yes, of course. Over the last few months, we've been talking about how we'd like to do this and what we'd like to accomplish. For example, for me there's been a regular dissatisfaction that during portable logging I've made mistakes with recording the band correctly in the log and having to manually go back and fix this, taking away from making contacts and having fun. To prevent that, I wanted to make sure that we had electronic logging that was linked to the radio in the same way as I do in my shack, so it didn't happen again. It was a small improvement, but I felt it was important. Doing this meant that we'd either need to sort out a computer link, known as CAT or computer-assisted tuning, for his radio in the vehicle, or bring my radio, CAT control, power adapters, as well as bring a laptop, power supply, and last but not least, find space in the vehicle to mount all this so it would work ergonomically for a 24-hour mobile contest. The vehicle in question is the pride and joy of Thomas, Victor Kilo 6 Victor Charlie Romeo, a 20-odd-year-old Toyota Land Cruiser ute with 2 seats. 3 if you count the middle of the bench, and neither of us would ever be described as petite, so space is strictly limited. In playing this out and trying to determine what needed to go where, we discovered that this wasn't going to work, and I made the bold proposal to go old school and use a paper log. This would mean that we could use the existing radio without needing to sort out CAT control, the need for any power adapters, no space required for a laptop, no power for that, no extra wiring in the vehicle, and a whole lot more simplicity. So that's what we're doing, paper log and a headlamp to be able to see in the dark. I must confess that I'm apprehensive of this whole caper, but I keep reminding myself that this too is an experience, good or bad, and at the end of the day we're here to have fun. I might learn that this was the worst idea I've ever had, or I might learn that this works great. It's not the first time I've used a paper log, so I'm aware of plenty of pitfalls, not the least of which is deciphering my own handwriting, the ingenious project of 3, or was it 4, different handwriting systems taught to me by subsequent teachers in different countries. There's the logistics of being able to read and write at an odd distance, trying to work out how to operate the microphone with the wrong hand, though we are trialling a headset and boom microphone with a push-to-talk button, and then there's the radio, one I've used before but not in a contest setting, and not whilst driving around on the seat of a 4-wheel drive hell-bent on rattling my teeth from their sockets. On the plus side, I've done a contest with my friend before, and he's familiar with my competitive streak, and we're both up for a laugh, so I'm confident that despite the challenges that lie ahead, we're going to make fun and enjoy the adventure. I can't wait to find out if simplifying things will result in a better experience, and only trying it will tell. I'll let you know how it goes. When was the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone and what did you do? How did it work out? I'm Ono, Victor Kilo 6, Foxtrot Lima, Alpha Bravo.